telling you that if you have an extra room in your home, you can actually earn from it. How about you try, if you don't want Airbnb, try do it at a personal and private space and still earn a back. And we looked at, you could actually stand to earn 100,000 Uganda shillings every single night by just renting out that extra room in your home to a stranger or a tourist here in the country. So that is a conversation, but today our focus will be on the hospitality industry. And just looking at the global scope, did you know that the hospitality industry contributes about 10.2% to the global GDP? Yes, and it actually contributes to the earning of jobs, and so 1 in every 10 jobs is actually in the hospitality industry, and that's from a global scope. So let's bring the conversation home. As an entrepreneur, and of course I'm joined by my colleague in the industry, we've been saying that the hospitality industry is pretty much struggling. So this content is for you, the business person in that particular space. Then how do you go about, managing or surviving in these turbulent times, hard times in the business space? So with me, I'm joined by Mr. Godwin Muhanguzi. He is a consultant, financial consultant here in the country. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mala, and good morning, NTV, and all the viewers. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning. Let's look at this particular space, hospitality industry. There are two sides to it. The hardware, which is very important. When do we meaning? The building, the aesthetics, the infrastructure, how it looks. And there's also the software, which carries the business ideally. Break it down for us and let us in on how important is it, because then that's where business success in the hospitality industry lies.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mala. For all the viewers, I think they must understand that whereas the infrastructure is very important, you must have a beautiful building for people to come and look at and say, wow, a swimming pool around. But that's not all, because that's a building. And Ugandans love good things. Even the whole world, people love good things. And the hospitality business must look beautiful. You must do good things, good rooms. But that's not all. What teases people is the software. And that's where much of my consultancy is. The software. Software is the people. Because in this industry, you must know that you must place the right people. From the top management to the person who you think is the smallest person who manages the sanitation or maintaining your washrooms or restrooms. So that's very important. The right person. And this right person must be understanding, but also before they understand the job, they must have the knowledge about the industry. This industry is very unique and very complicated. It's very different from having a school, is different from having a shop that you have, because here you deal with people's psychologies. Right. But also people enter in and pay their huge sums of money, and they feel that they need value for their money. So you must have a manager in the first place who understands what to do, who has the skills and the knowledge in that industry, but also who is mindful that this industry is not static. What worked today may not work tomorrow. Right. What will work tomorrow may not work next year. So it is static in nature. Innovation. The person must be innovative each and every single day.
But let me ask you this. Many will say that, fine, I started my own maybe hotel or a lodge, and I went to X training school to get the best, the graduates, and I brought them to my space. And I got comfortable. I mean, fresh, the top, they perform practically, perfectly well, and I got comfortable. I don't have time. I really didn't see the need of retraining them for them to fit into the culture and my expectations. Let's get to the bit of the importance of rigorous training and practical trainings, and how often these trainings actually need to take place.
Training is continuous. Learning is continuous. You only cease learning when you die. And for me to say that you brought graduates, you brought people who are highly learned, the degrees at your hotel, that's not good enough. This is not an academic issue. You're not going to be debating with clients, telling them what happened today in Kampala, what happened today in New York. They really need a service, and they need to feel value and see value for their money. So it's not about academics. It's not about how learned people are. It's just being mindful of what people need, the clients. Because you read the client's mind, you read what the clients want, it's what you offer. So if you establish a beautiful hotel, and I've been consulting this for a long time, I can tell you for a fact, and if people are honest with you, if someone concentrates on thinking, I've done a beautiful building, I've done beautiful homes, beautiful rooms, the green is super, and you don't pay attention to the software, to the who manages your hotel in the first place, who your manager is, what's the school of thought, because this is a combination of the two.
Right.
The experience, the old class idea, but also the current idea, because you see you have many clients. You have the young people coming into your facility, but you also have these old people who have their old school of thought. There needs to be a balance.
Right.
There needs to be a balance.
It's a dynamic space.
It's a dynamic space. And even what you cram, you say today we're going to do this. The clients that come in can change the day. Because you could be planning to play some sort of music, but you get these old people. So you insist on saying we're going to do dance floor today, or you go to the oldies. So you must be very creative and using your head. Actually, it works on using your mind as fast as possible, but also reading carefully who your clientele is. So
the software and ideally delivering an exquisite experience for all the guests. Let's look at how often, the training programs. How often should I, maybe as a hotel owner, train my staff?
Regularly. You don't say I'll train once, I'll do it, because there are many things here. For example, did you know that food presentation in a hotel is a big deal? It's not just good food that a chef has prepared, but how I prepare it to the client and present it on the table. It's a big deal. So that has to be checked every other time. And we are human beings. We don't learn. You don't give all this information one day. And you feel. Yes. So for me, I want to think that for anyone to succeed, the person should have a consultant, person in charge of training their staff. And the easiest way you do it, you have a contract with these people, maybe an annual contract, and you point out things which you require improvement. Then you keep assessing this person. Is my consultant. That's how my clients do. Because if I have a client who has consulted me, they should be able to appraise me. How is my... Even then, you have forms that are filled by your clients. Right. Yes. Then you see the areas, because these clients that come to your facilities, they know what they are looking for. Someone comes for massage, they know what they are looking for in massage. Someone comes to swim. You may think they don't know, but it is dangerous if the swimmer knows how to swim more than your swimming attendant. Right. So, and this thing must be covering everything. Even your manager must be taken through. For example, I should take through your manager the overview of the business. So the attention to detail. Every single employee matters. We're in this together, and what we always preach every single day is that even the guard at the gate is important. He can mess up the day of your client in a snap of a second. So training. The other aspect that we're looking at is, you're saying that it's important for you as the proprietor or the entrepreneur or the owner of this particular complex to be present. Be present. How important is that? I mean, if I train, if I'm a busy person and I have the best maybe manager or supervisor, why should I be present? I keep telling business owners, especially in this industry, Indians are not fools who sleep at their premises. Yes. You've seen the Indians have a concept. When they do a factory or an industry, they have the apartments above their factory. Because you see, the theory of money, before you sleep, you must know how your money has slept. If you're a grazer and you have cows, from where I come from, people have cows, you must know how many cows have slept in a crowd before you sleep. Right. So it's the same thing. If you're a business owner and you own a hotel, my advice to you as a consultant in this area is to, if you don't have time to supervise it, leave it. Whoa. Or else you work for other people. You've seen hotels which have lived long and they don't do anything. It is the same hotel for 10 years, nothing comes. So it's that, because no one will ever manage Mala. No one, not even your husband, will manage the business the way you, the vision bearer, would do it. Because you have at the back of your mind what you want to see your business do. Right. If that is really your hard-earned money. Because unless you picked money and you did Rotary and you picked the money and you just excited, you want to do something and you don't understand it. But if you really earned your money and you've invested it in a hotel, you as the owner, you know where you want the business to go, not the people you hire.
And the other aspect is fine, you could be present, but it's also important to understand your business before you even get to investing in there. Why is it important? We're having a crop of big sharks, of business captains investing, and they always say that I have the liquidity, I can get into every industry. It doesn't matter, I don't really have to understand the details of this particular industry because I can afford the most expensive managers to handle the business for me. How important is it, over and above you being present, how important is it for the proprietor, the owner of the business, to understand the trade in that particular industry?
Then that even simplifies my discussion. It explains why businesses start in this country, you know it? Out of 100 businesses, close of year, over 80 to 90 businesses would have closed.
Right.
That's the idea. Because people think starting a business is just gathering capital. No, no, no. It takes much more than that. Because you must understand the business you're going to do. You must have the passion to do it. And you clearly have to know where you want your business point. Where do you want your business point? And that gets into creating an organizational culture. For example, if someone came to your hotel, what should they feel that you offer unique from another place? Because you see, there are many hotels, but different hotels have different clientele. So what brings different people to different places is if someone walked in your hotel, what do you offer that is unique from another place? Seemingly the same food, same chairs, same swimming pool around, but there's something soft in nature. But from the gate, you talked about in my consultancy journey, I first train the security guards.
Right.
Which people don't pay attention to. That's a guard. A guard understands everything, because you know the guard can frustrate you. You come and the guard tells the client, today we're not working, sir. By the way, the manager is sick. The owner has problems. He came here and he fought with the wife and left. They can intentionally frustrate you, because you're not going to double check what this person, but also giving them the right information to give to the clients. So
understanding the business, and you and I understand this, that even with regards to owning property, now there are different forms of ownership. And I'll ask you this, if I'm just a shareholder, maybe a majority shareholder in, for example, let's just take an example of where we are, so we're in a hotel. Before I even make that decision, for example, to now move and be a shareholder in property in a totally different space, you know the benefits of being a shareholder. You can remove yourself from all this, daily ops and many other risks involved in this particular business. Is it important for a shareholder to also understand the business before they invest in it or buy shares?
Yes, 100%. Because you see, if you don't understand, I'll give you a very simple example. If you didn't understand how the car works, and your car breaks down and you take it to the garage, and the person tells you it is a pressure, but you see the tires, so you must know which pressure. But let me bring it to the industry we're talking about. There's equipment in this industry. For example, the equipment that filtrates water or cleans water in the swimming pool.
Right.
So even a shareholder, if every time they tell you that the swimming pool broke down, you should say, wait, what system are you using? Is it a jet system? What system are you using to clean the water? But also what chemicals? Because someone could make a requisition of chlorine 90, chlorine 65 every other week. But how much chlorine do you use in the water? How big is the swimming pool? How many liters is the swimming pool? You get my point?
Right.
So as a shareholder or a business owner, I must know that. If I don't know that, you should take it to the detail of knowing, even if someone says they bring out an order, for example, chicken and chips, what portion do they serve?
So
you get my point? Yes,
the detail.
That detail, because it's very important.
Right.
To know my clients are served 4 portions in chicken. How much does this chicken weigh? Otherwise, they'll be telling you chicken is over, but you don't see the money.
Right.
So it's that detailed. Or someone will sell your chicken and bring in another chicken.
Speaking of which, of course, that could be maybe a major solution with regards to us seeing a totally different trend with regards to the collapse of many businesses. If then the shareholders understand the business,
Yes.
maybe we could mitigate some of these particular risks of seeing businesses just not surviving the space. Let's move on. What's the other very important, aspect with regards to success in the hospitality industry? I know many are watching, them that are already in the business struggling, or them that want to actually get in, because 2019 we've been preaching messages of it's important to invest. So for someone who's been looking out for that space or is already in there, what other aspects should they look out for so that they can streamline and ensure that they actually meet or achieve their bottom line targets?
Prepare for emergencies. This industry is the industry with the most emergencies I've seen. Because you can't wake up one morning, you have a function to do in 2 hours, and they tell you the manager has not reported.
Right.
The chef did not report. It's connivance. What do? Do you scream? They are calling you, remember you're in a meeting. Or you have traveled. They are calling you and they are telling you there's no one. Probably it's actually the guard.
Right.
Who is calling, says, sir, since morning I haven't seen anyone. The cars are packed, the people are seated, no one serving them. What do you do in such an emergency?
Right. So have structures that have emergency caveats. In the case, in the event X happens, there's a solution. I don't have to be there.
Yes.
Right.
But you see, in the first place I said, be mentored.
Right.
In this industry. Don't do the business as if you're the first one to do it in the whole world. Have mentors in this industry. They will tell you for a fact that you have an emergency list. If this chef left, you get it?
Right.
I have 5 other chefs I can call. I could hire them at a very expensive arrangement, but they fix me to move over as I prepare to fix this.
Okay.
So you should know that actually, even when this manager is here, because the manager could be the person frustrating you, for me as a business owner, I should have my backup.
Brilliant.
You get my point?
Yes.
So that if this manager does not turn up, because the problem with Africans, when you hire them, they seem to imagine that they own the business.
So, Mr. Muhanguzi, we are agreeing. I mean, the conversation has been more of the software of the business. Hospitality is about the software, and the software, we mean the employees, the staff in that particular complex. Then he said that be present, understand the business, have systems in place, because it's those systems that will check for emergency, and they will have those particular caveats. Thank you so much for coming in studios.
Also
of course, we'll be having
for training.
Have a budget for training, guys. Yes, thank you for saying that. Have a budget for training as well. Godwin Muhanguzi, a financial consultant here in the country. Thank you so much for coming on.
Welcome.
That has been the conversation. I promised you, Business Updates 2019, you must make money in 2019. So we'll give you all the tips that you need to be successful in whatever trade that you are in. That brings us to a close. Morning at 10 TV comes to a close at this point. Be sure to join us yet again at 6:30 to 9 a.m. every Monday to Friday. We'll be with you tomorrow. The hashtag will always be morning at NTV, and you can always stream us live NTV Uganda. That's on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to the Morning at NTV live stream. Have yourselves a blessed day. See ya.
You're watching Morning at NTV.